Have you ever felt the heavy weight of silence, like the world has turned down its volume just for you? Did it ever happen to you that trust felt like a fragile thing, as if it could shatter with a whisper? What would you do if you woke up one day and everything you knew felt like a distant echo? There's a certain stillness to my apartment, broken only by the rhythmic tapping of raindrops against the window. It's like the rain's way of trying to reach in, to feel the emptiness that's otherwise consuming. I remember when this place was full of life, when the walls echoed with laughter and warmth. But now the shadows stretch longer, the silence thickens, and I'm left with my own thoughts, which are anything but kind. I once loved this space. It was my refuge, my fortress against the world's chaos. Somewhere along the way, it became my prison. The betrayal didn't just come from a stranger, it was someone I trusted, someone I loved. When the world you believe in turns its back on you, you're left questioning everything, including yourself. There's a journal on my desk, its pages mostly blank. It should be filled with dreams and aspirations, but my hands tremble when I try to write. The words don't come easily anymore. They feel trapped, just like me. Each day bleeds into the next, marked only by the passing shadows on the walls. The isolation is a constant companion, the kind that doesn't leave even when asked. I wonder if the quiet will ever feel comforting again, or if the trust I placed will ever be rebuilt. For now, I sit by the window, the rain my only solace, trying to pin down the unspoken, hoping to find a semblance of peace between the lines. The call came on a dreary afternoon, the kind where the sky hung low and heavy, mirroring the tightening in my chest. I can still feel the phone's cold weight in my hand, as if it were an extension of my dread. A voice dripped with feigned sympathy, each word a needle puncturing my fragile peace. They told me the betrayal, a close friend, my anchor, had not only cut the ties but poisoned the waters. Lies, vile and twisting, spread like a shadow, engulfing every corner of my life. Confusion erupted, a cacophony inside my skull, like the shattered glass of trust scattering into every nerve. I remember the visceral ache, a chasm opening beneath my feet. My reality, once a vibrant tapestry, woven with connection and care unraveled, anxiety's steely fingers wrapped around my throat, while depression whispered insidious sonnets of worthlessness in my ear. I reached out, hands trembling, seeking solace, or at least understanding. I found only dismissiveness, disbelief, an echo of indifference. Friends drifted it away, their silence a verdict. Attempts to bridge the chasm left me more isolated, clambering through the fog of abandonment. Nights became battlegrounds. Insomnia painted my world in hues of exhaustion, while nightmares replayed the betrayal in grotesque loops. I questioned everything, even my reflection, avoiding mirrors and photographs, rejecting the person who seemed both unfamiliar and unforgivable. Invisible in a sea of strangers, I wandered crowded streets, my presence a ghostly afterthought. I battled the urge to vanish entirely, a silent scream lodged in my throat, my heart heavy with the weight of unspoken sorrow. I teetered on the brink, yearning for kinship but paralyzed by the fear of further devastation. In those bleak moments, I wondered if there was any meaning left amid the wreckage. My suffering felt endless, a relentless tide threatening to drown me. Yet, despite the crushing despair, a part of me clung to the possibility that somewhere a lifeline awaited. The dark wraps around me a comforting cloak as heavy raindrops tap a relentless rhythm on the window. Time seems to stretch in this dimly lit room, a place where echoes of my past dance like specters. I used to be vibrant, full of life, but now I am just a ghost, lost in a sea of memories that refuse to fade. I lie awake at night, my thoughts swirling like leaves caught in a storm. The insomnia grips me fiercely, each sleepless hour a reminder of my unraveling. Nightmares are my only companions, dragging me back to that moment, that phone call, a voice that shattered my reality into a million irretrievable pieces. Betrayal is a sharp-edged word, cutting deeper than any physical wound, and though I try to forget, it claws at my mind with unyielding persistence. In daylight, the world moves on, but I am stuck, invisible amidst the bustling crowds. It is as if I wear a cloak of invisibility, the people around me seeing through my hollow shell. Sometimes I yearn to scream, to shatter this silence that has woven itself into my very being. Voices of doubt echo, asking if this pain is deserved, if somehow I am to blame. Mirrors taunt me with a reflection I no longer recognize. I avoid them, terrified of facing the emptiness that stares back. Even photographs betray me, capturing a past life that seems more fiction than memory. I am lost in a world where familiar faces have become mere shadows, their absence a constant reminder of my isolation. I wander the streets, a solitary figure adrift in an ocean of indifference. My heart aches for connection, yet fear of further betrayal builds walls around me. The weight of guilt presses down, whispering that I am undeserving of love, of kindness. I am exhausted, a weary traveler fighting against the tide, yearning for a reprieve, for some sign that there is still hope. But hope feels like a distant star, glimpsed only in the rare moments of unexpected kindness. I hold on to these fragments, these tiny flickers of light in a darkened sky, wondering if perhaps they might guide me back to myself, back to a place where I can breathe without fear. Yet, as I teeter on the edge of despair, I cling to the pen in my hand, hoping that through the ink I might find a way to stitch together the fractured pieces of my soul. The room feels like a cavern, suffocating in its silence, only broken by the insistent patter of rain against the window. It is here, amid shadows and solitude, that I confront the reckoning of my fractured soul. At my lowest, I am a marionette of despair, strings cut, collapsing into myself. I am dizzy with the intimacy of my own pain, an echo chamber of memories and what-ifs that refuse to quiet. The weight of betrayal is a specter that looms, a constant companion that tightens its grip around my heart. I find myself crumbling, a delicate structure of trust and hope now reduced to dust. Tears carve rivulets down my face, silent screams absorbed into the fabric of my pillow, a muted symphony of anguish. My reflection, a stranger, bears the scorn of my inner torment, eyes hollow as if they too have abandoned me. Yet, in this abyss, a flicker of light, a kindness from a stranger, a letter from a distant friend, glimmers. This unexpected tenderness breaks through the shell of apathy I have encased myself in. It is difficult to accept this fragile branch of hope, fear, and mistrust gnawing at the edges of possibility. To trust again feels insurmountable, a mountain of suffering I have no strength to climb. But there is a pull, a whisper that urges me to pick up the pen once more, to pour the tumult of my heart onto the page. With each word, I draw a map of emotions, tracing pathways through anger and sorrow, searching for an inkling of understanding. The pages do not judge. They absorb my confessions, a canvas for my longing for forgiveness and peace. Vulnerability feels like standing naked before a storm, yet I inch forward, daring to believe in the redemption of connection. I wrestle with the idea of forgiveness, not as a gift to others, but as a balm for my own soul, a release from the chains of resentment. In these tentative steps, I begin to see glimmers of resilience, the faint promise of healing through the cracks of my shattered facade. Time has a strange way of weaving tapestries from shadows and light, and Sarah stands at the loom of her life, hands trembling with the weight of the threads. The room is still dim, the rain a metronome against the windows, tapping a rhythm only she can hear. The betrayal had etched its scars deep, a constant echo in the silence of her solitary existence. She had been unraveled, her trust scattered like leaves in a storm. Yet here, amidst the wreckage, she finds herself piecing together a fragile mosaic of hope. It's not a grand epiphany, but a series of whispers, an understanding that healing isn't a destination but a journey fraught with potholes and unexpected vistas. In therapy, she learns to navigate the labyrinth of her mind, tracing paths through the rubble toward moments of clarity. There are days when the shadows still dance menacingly, but there are also days when she feels the warmth of the sun on her face, a gentle reminder of resilience. Sarah writes her final journal entry with a steady hand, the ink capturing both her scars and her strength. She acknowledges the ever-present pain, the wounds that remain open, yet she embraces them as part of her narrative. She no longer seeks to erase the past, but to coexist with it, to let it shape her without consuming her. And in this acceptance, she finds a quiet kind of courage, a resolve to welcome the dawn, no matter how fragile, as a testament to her survival. Part 6. Emotional Resolution. The room is quiet now, shadows softened by the gentle glow of dawn filtering through rain-speckled glass. Sarah sits by the window, her fingers trailing patterns on the misted pane. The storm within her has settled, leaving in its wake an unfamiliar serenity. The scars she carries, once relentless in their ache, have become a quiet part of her, woven into the fabric of her being. She sits with them as old companions, no longer hidden, no longer feared. Her thoughts turn inward, exploring the landscapes of her pain, now just familiar roads in a journey toward self-discovery. Each memory, each heartache, once searing in its intensity, has softened with time, like sea glass polished by waves. She breathes deeply, feeling life's rhythm in and out, understanding now that acceptance is not acquiescence, but a gentle acknowledgement of what is and what was. Through the haze of reflected memories, Sarah realizes the profound resilience that has quietly grown within her, tendrils of hope emerging from once barren soil. She is a garden of past sorrows, each a seed of wisdom, quietly transforming her into something new. The ghosts of betrayal and loneliness no longer dictate her narrative, but they are folded into her story, giving depth and texture to her character. She opens her journal, now less of a refuge and more of a testament, smoothing its pages as if they were the pages of her own life. There is peace in releasing the need for resolution, in embracing the ebb and flow of healing without expectation. The ink upon the paper reflects her truth, a mirror of her spirit's resilience, gently anchoring her to the present. The world outside stirs to life as she closes her journal with a quiet resolve. In the grand tapestry of existence, her pain is but a single thread, integral yet not dominating. Her heart, tentative yet open, beats not in defiance of the suffering she has known, but in honor of the strength it has imparted. Message to the viewer. Have you ever been through something you've never told anyone about? Something that still lives in your chest? If you feel like sharing it, we're here. Drop your story in the comments, even just a part of it. Every week, we turn one of your stories into a cinematic video, just like this one. This is a safe space. Your voice matters. You're not alone.